All right, I think we're ready to go, people. So this is the Go On Fishing session. Not here for that, you should probably be. So this, Tyler Mann's going to be doing this presentation. Tyler has been with ODOT for 11 years, working at District 7 IT, and now for the ODOT security team for the past 2 years. We're going fishing, people.
Thanks,
Pull.
Jack. All right, can you guys hear me okay? All right. So my name is Tyler Mann. As Jack said, I've been with ODOT for 11 years now. Today's presentation is called Go On Fishing. And we're going to start off the presentation with a story about Walter Stefan. So if you guys didn't know this, Walter Stefan holds the record for being the individual to lose the most money in history from a single phishing scam. So a little bit of backstory how this happened. He was the CEO of a company called FACC, which manufactures aircraft components for Boeing and Airbus. And what happened was cyber criminals spoofed his email address and sent an email to a lower level account employee. In which she trusted the email, and it was actually a phishing email, and she actually trusted that email and opened it, and they were requesting for a large amount of money to be wired to an unknown bank for a acquisition project. And she actually went ahead and proceeded with that wire transfer because the attackers actually spoofed his email address so it looked like it was coming from him. And so she actually went ahead and proceeded with that wire transfer. And the whole aftermath of this phishing attack and the whole company's loss, Stefan lost his position as CEO. The FACC fired its chief financial officer. And the company tried to scramble to try and receive all the lost money. Well, they actually ended up getting about 1/5 of the total loss back, which estimated to be around $47 million. So one phishing email, and that happened. That's all it takes sometimes. All right, so this is going to be the presentation outline for Go On Fishing today. We have Phishing 101. We're going to be covering some different types of phishing and some other interesting statistics and stories. We have Name That Fish, and that's where we're going to play like a little bit of a game, which is going to involve everybody that wants to participate. Where I'm going to show you guys an email, and you guys get to vote on what type of fish you guys think it is. And then we're going to wrap it up with your tool. It's going to wrap up the presentation. It's going to be a short summary of the presentation, a wrap up, and it's going to reiterate the importance of phishing education. All right, so what is phishing? Most of you guys have probably a good idea of what it is, but it's defined as the fraudulent practice of sending emails claiming to be from reputable companies in order to induce individuals to reveal their personal information, usernames, passwords, credit card information, and other financial information by disguising themselves as someone trustworthy. The first type of phishing we're going to talk about today is called whaling. Now this one is called whaling because it targets high-level individuals or executives. So whaling uses deceptive email messages targeting high-level decision makers within organizations such as CEOs, CFOs, and other executives. These individuals have access to highly valuable information and other higher-level passwords to administrative accounts and sometimes company trade secrets. So that's why these people are targeted, and that's why it's called whaling. So what happens here, this is kind of an example email. The attacker will send an email out on issues of critical business importance and just disguising themselves as an individual or organization with legitimate authority. For an example, an attacker may send an email to a CEO requesting payment, and they're actually just pretending to be a client of the company. So if you take a look at the email on the slide here, an attacker may send an email to a CEO of a company that he actually banks with. So if you take a look at the email, it's pretty well written. Notice how the email sounds urgent by saying that someone may have accessed your account. I don't know, but if I got that email, I'd be like, oh, well, someone's in there. We better take care of this now. And, click on this link. That's exactly what the attacker wants. So if the CEO actually does bank at Trusted Bank, and he might be, busy, distracted on the phone, things of that nature, he may be more inclined to, click on that phishing link. And if he does go ahead, if he was to proceed to click on this link, he's going to be brought to a fake bank login page with a login box. And then if he goes further and enters his credentials, you guys pretty much will know how it goes. The fisherman on the other end is going to have access to his account within minutes. This example was a CEO being targeted, but just know that this type of email, can be sent to anybody anytime. It doesn't really matter your position in a company. But when they are targeted at the higher levels, that's what they call whaling phishing emails. Okay, next we have another story. This one's about Anthem. This one is about Anthem, Blue Cross and Blue Shield. So what happened was they had a massive cyber attack launched at them in 2015, and there was a lot of people that had their information compromised. We'll get to that number towards the end of the story, but let's first trace the attackers' steps on how they pulled this off. So the data breach actually began in February 2015 when an employee of Anthem's opened a phishing email containing malicious content. Opening the email launched the download of malicious files to the user's computer and allowed hackers to gain remote access to that computer. It also allowed access to dozens of other systems within Anthem's enterprise, including Anthem's data warehouse. So the attackers started with the initial remote access. The attacker was able to move laterally across Anthem's systems and escalate privileges as they went, which allowed them to gain increasingly better access and ability to access the information and make changes in Anthem's environment. So all in all in this attack, the attacker utilized at least 50 accounts and compromised at least 90 systems within the Anthem enterprise, including Anthem's most important asset, which was that enterprise data warehouse, which that stores a large amount of consumer personal identifiable information. So the attackers sent queries to this database, and they were able to exfiltrate around 78.8 million unique user records. So about 80 million people had their information breached just by one phishing email. So what's the takeaway from this story? Well, obviously a cybersecurity breach of this magnitude, it just began with a simple phishing email. This just goes to show the importance of comprehensive and frequent security awareness trainings for all employees and organizations. Again and again, the human appears to be the weakest link in this case. The attackers are out there every single day, guys, sending emails. They can send hundreds, if not thousands, of emails over a period of time, and it only takes one mistake by a user for the attacker to get through. All right, so we're moving on to another phishing type here. It's called spearfishing. So spearfishing is an email directed at a targeted person or group of people. Take a look at the example on the screen here, if you guys can see that. We're going to talk about this one, how it's kind of set up. So what happened here is this email is a spoofed email is sent to an IT system admin from someone claiming to be and represent itservices.com, which is a database management provider. So the email uses itservices.com's customer mailing template, so it looks pretty much identical. The email claims that itservices.com is offering a free new service for a limited time and invites the user to go ahead and sign up with that link in there in the email. So if you were to click on this link, you'll then be redirected to a login page on itservice.com, which is a fake website which is identical to itservices.com, to the registration page. So once this happens at the same time, a command and control agent gets installed on the system admin's PC, which could then be used to backdoor into the enterprise's network to execute the first stage of an APT attack, which is an advanced persistent threat, often not being detected for long periods of time. Just a side note here, another well-known incident regarding an APT attack like this is the 2017 Equifax breach, where the attackers actually had access to personal records for months before they were even detected on the network. But we're going to stick with phishing, so we won't get into details on that one. All right, the next type of phishing is called laser phishing. Now this one's pretty new. This one's fairly new. It's really interesting. So laser phishing is essentially the use of an online artificial intelligence bots that scan and learn a person's social media profiles, friends, relationships, and other interactions between you and other people online. This type of phishing is very concerning to some security researchers because it takes the human attacker out of the phishing equation. All they have to do is set up the bots and then let them run wild. So just to kind of put this into perspective, you guys know how like some businesses that you work with have automated support chatbots that will help you fix an issue or solve a problem. Well, now we have phishing chatbots that can intelligently interact with you. So with this, the attacker's intent is to store your information and use the AI bots to send you guys relevant messages directly to you from like a hacked friend's account or a cloned or family or friend's account. The messages that you will receive in a instant message would most likely be related to a topic you are discussing online with friends or family, which is publicly available. Remember, the bot goes out there and scans that information. So if you take a look at the image on the slide, the attack starts with a relevant message, and then also puts a link through Facebook Messenger or other popular social media messaging. You see that there is a link there you can click on this picture. So if you're getting one of these messages from your friend or family member, their friend may have had their account compromised, or you accepted a friend request from a cloned account. The big whole backstory and idea of this scam is to bait you into clicking the link by taking advantage of your curiosity. The message may read something like this, like OMG, you know, is this you in the video, or OMG, look what they're saying about you, or look at your face in this picture. You know, and you're going to be more inclined to click on that to see what they're talking about. Obviously, this is some kind of message that's going to grab our attention. That's exactly what they want, but if you click on this, it's probably not going to end very well. All right, that kind of brings us into mobile phishing types. There are a couple different ones out there. As you guys know, phishing attacks are no longer exclusive to emails, especially on the mobile platform. So just the mobile device's design and features, they've made it easier for phishers to create ways on how they can take advantage of mobile flaws and get their hands on personal information. A lot of users are quite familiar with what phishing looks like on the desktop, but the same users are not as familiar as what a phishing email might look like on a mobile device. So if you take a look at the image on the slide here, if you can read the middle one there, take a look at the PayPal one. The URL actually reads paypal.money.com instead of just paypal.com. So again, it's very important to know the URLs of the websites that you work with the most. Let's move on to mobile phishing types. There's a couple of different kind of mobile phishing types out there. The first one is called smishing, and that one is any kind of phishing that involves a text message. This can be from a phone number or an SMS message. Smishing is particularly scary just because people tend to be more inclined to trust a text message rather than the email. Smishing likes to use elements of social engineering to get you to share your personal information. The information the smisher is looking for can be anything from online passwords to banking information, credit card information, and things like that. And once they have this information, they can start applying for new credit in your name, and then that's where you're going to run into some issues. So how do you know if you're being smished? Just some tips here. Just in general, you don't want to reply back to text messages from people you don't know. That's the best way to remain safe. This is especially true when an SMS comes from a phone number that doesn't look like a phone number, like just like a 5000 number that comes through to your phone. This is a sign that the message is actually an email sent to a mobile device. Make sure you guys don't click on links on your phone unless you know the person that they're coming from, but even if you know the person, it's still good to go back, message them back or call them and say, hey, did you mean to send this to me because this is what I got, and there's a link and I don't want to open it. Any apps that you install on your device, make sure they come from the official app stores. The approved apps that make it to the store go through vigorous testing. Make sure you err on the side of caution. If you have any doubt about the safety of a text message, don't even open it. Almost all the text messages you're going to get are going to be totally fine, but it only takes one bad one to compromise your security. With just a little bit of common sense and caution, you can make sure that you don't become a victim of identity theft. All right, we have another story. Does anybody know who John Brennan is? All right, Nathan, bonus points for you. So John Brennan was the director of the CIA from 2013 to 2017. And what happened to him was a small group of hackers were able to break into his AOL account for 3 days and access an abundance of sensitive documents containing names, social security numbers, and other sensitive information from 2009 when he was President Obama's counterterrorism advisor. So just how did they do it? Well, they started by performing an online reverse lookup of Brennan's mobile phone number. They discovered he was a Verizon customer. So what they did was one of them posed as a Verizon technician and called the company asking for details about his account. The hackers told Verizon that they worked for Verizon as well and that they had a customer on scheduled callback. The caller also then told Verizon that he was unable to access the customer database on his own because his tools were down. They even took it one step further and fabricated a Verizon employee V code, which is assigned to every Verizon employee. They fabricated a V code and sent that to the technician as well. Once Verizon, the customer support technician had all the info they thought they needed, they went ahead and released the information to the attackers. The information that they got was Brennan's account number, his 4-digit PIN, the backup mobile number on the account, his AOL email address, and the last 4 digits on his bank card. So all this information is stored, and they got a hold of it. So after getting all that from Verizon, they then called AOL and said they were locked out of their email account. So AOL went ahead and asked for security questions. They asked for the last 4 numbers on the bank card, which they just got from Verizon, so they went ahead and gave them that. They also asked for the name and the phone number associated with the account. Easy, John Brennan, phone number they just got. And then, just like that, AOL went ahead and reset the password for their AOL account, and they were in. This is going to take us to our final phishing type, called phishing. So, fraudsters also use the phone to solicit your personal information. This is a telephone version, and it's called phishing. Phishing relies on social engineering techniques to trick you into providing information that they can use to access your important accounts. People can also then use this information to assume your identity and start opening new accounts and new credits. So to avoid being fooled by a phishing attempt, always think of who contacted who. If they called you, just say thank you, simply hang up and call your bank back at their main number and ask them if there's been a problem with your account. Also make sure you guys forward the solicitation emails to the customer service or security email address of the organization, just to make sure that, and ask whether the email is legitimate or not. All right, that brings us into some phishing statistics here. These are some statistics that really stood out to me. Phishing accounts now for 90% of data breaches. This is a growing industry. Phishing attempts have grown 65% in the last year. And around 1.5 million new phishing sites are created each month. All right, so some tips on what to do if you've been phished. Make sure you change all your passwords for the accounts that have been compromised, as well as accounts that use the same or similar password. Cancel your credit card if you entered your credit card information into a phishing page. Take your computer offline or delete your email account to avoid spreading phishing links to your contact list. Make sure you contact the company or person that was actually spoofed in the first place, because it might be your CEO, could be a friend, or a major company or bank. Here at ODOT myself, whenever we see someone's email get spoofed from a company we work with, I'll often send that person an email saying that their account may be compromised and to get hold of their security team. Make sure you scan your devices for viruses. Clicking on malicious links can trigger silent downloads of malware to your machine, and they can go to work corrupting your system without your knowledge. Watch out for warning signs of identity theft, and also put a fraud alert on your credit account if you suspect that you've been phished. And prevention. Some of these are going to be obvious for you guys, but we're still going to go through them here. Don't click on suspicious links. If you're ever in doubt, had to read something twice, or find yourself second guessing, just don't click. Make sure you press that fish alert button, and that will send an email to the ODOT security team, and we'll take a look at it. Don't enter your credit card information into unknown or untrusted online services. Online shopping phishing scams are up 35% since 2018. If a link directs you to your banking website, open up your banking website manually in a new window, rather than opening up the link from the email. Don't fall for scams that claim you've won a prize, and always make sure to check the address bar for suspicious or copycat URLs. Last but not least, educate yourself and your team. With as fast as technology is advancing today, we have to do our due diligence of protecting ourselves and ODOT by educating ourselves about cybersecurity. All right, so that's going to take us into Name That Fish. So hopefully you guys can see this on the screen here. Everyone's welcome to participate if you want. Go ahead and take a quick look at this. All these Name That Fish emails actually have come to ODOT's inboxes and have been reported to us. So I've taken screenshots. Go ahead and I'll give you guys a few seconds to look at this. And then if you want to participate, have your phone ready, because you'll just have to text a number, text a keyword, and then text your answer as of what type of fish you think it is. Everybody have enough time? Hopefully this works. Well, it's supposed to show on this slide. Oops. Go back one. Nah, it's not letting me scroll down either. Give us the multiple choice. Okay, so multiple choice answers for this one. It's going to be spam, phishing, spearfishing, or just regular fishing.
I say spear.
Spearfishing. Anybody else have any guesses?
Whatever the top
Okay. Okay. Well, this one is actually just gonna be regular fishing. Actually, no, I'm sorry. Yeah, it's just regular fishing. Or you could call this social engineering. This is maybe another word for this one. Social engineering would probably be the best answer for this. Simply because there's actually no malicious links or attachments in the email. It's just this person is trying to get you to reply back to him, so he can send you more information on whatever scam he's trying to set up. One good keyword is, to look at is the subject. It's on all caps, so that he's creating a sense of urgency. So on this one, I'm going to say it's going to be social engineering. All right, I have a couple more for you guys. Take a look at this one. Kind of bummed that the whole thing isn't working. This one's a little bit longer to read, but just take a look here and look at the URLs, the links. There's quite a few links embedded in this. It says, please see attached invoice for United Rentals, which is prompt payment with order. Also, keep a lookout on the wording. A lot of times they make spelling mistakes and make funny sounding words and things like that. So I guess the options for this one, we're going to say phishing, spearfishing, social engineering, and regular fishing.
Spearfishing.
Spearfishing?
I'm gonna get one of these right.
Okay, well, it could be spearfishing. However, we don't know if this individual was actually targeted directly. More likely, probably not. Usually the attackers want to cast a large net to get as many replies back as they can, or as many clickers. So typically, if it's spearfishing, they're zoning it into one person. For this one, I'm going to say it's just going to be regular phishing. These URLs are going to take you to a lookalike page where you put your credentials in, and then they're going to have your information. All right, now I have one more to show you guys. Jack's still in the room.
Is this whaling?
Whaling?
I like that. Targeting somebody important.
Yeah, right? CEO.
Good answer.
CEO, right? I will tell you guys that this purple box here, it does have a clickable link. This one, guys, this one's going to be just regular fishing as well. You can't really specify it down to a certain individual, so it's not going to be spear or laser, unfortunately. All right, so that moves us into your tool.
So did that
No,
last
really, you
guy
guys
click on
are-
the link? That's what I want to know.
What's that?
Did that last guy click on the link? That's what I want.
I don't think so. I think he pressed the report a fish button. Did a good job.
Trust me, if you did, you would have no network access.
So you guys are ODOT's best assets and resources against cybersecurity attacks. October is Cybersecurity Awareness Month, and ODOT has invested in training for every employee because ODOT already knows the importance of educating employees about cybersecurity and phishing attacks. It's been my job today to share with you some stories and information about phishing, and I sincerely hope you guys will walk out here learning something new today, no matter how small or how big it was. It's important to myself and the ODOT security team that we remain vigilant in the never-ending battle with cyber criminals. Does anybody have any questions?
Is there demographics? I mean, are young kids picking up on this better than older people? Or is there,
That's the same question
or
I
is there
had.
no-
What about the next generation?
Yeah, I
The
mean,
next
are they doing it
generation,
better?
well, I was surprised to learn something new with the laser fishing. That was something I haven't really heard too much about, and that's really new. People are not really trying to share information about that because it's so unknown. People like to, it's kind of scary when you don't know about something. It scares security researchers when there's that stuff out there. People are making bots, to talk to you and try to phish you. So, these tools are out there already. They're just not as common yet, but it's coming.
Well,
It's
are
coming.
they giving this type of presentation though in the K through 12 academic setting?
They should be. I think
Correct.
schools definitely need to be,
Yes.
setting up some kind of security education because we're only going more and more mobile. Everyone has a phone. The kids all have a phone. Yes.
Is there something phishing called robocall? I've been hearing
Robocall?
that- Yeah, I've been hearing that a lot.
I haven't heard that one.
Robocall or something where it's,
Robocalls.
yes,
Oh, like calling you?
yeah.
Like an
Is that
automated
sort of like a
machine calling you?
phishing?
So that would be related to sort of like maybe phishing if they had
Yeah.
ill intents.
Yeah.
Almost like a telemarketer type deal where
Yeah.
there's actually no one
Like
there.
the IRS calling you saying.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
that computerized voice saying, oh,
Yeah.
you're going to jail if you.
Yeah.
Yes, that would be under the phishing category. So, unwanted calls, basically, trying to get you to call a number or go to a website, and put your credentials in. That's another way they can do it. Yep. So yes, that'd be under phishing.
In Outlook now, we have the button, the fish alert. Do you
Yes.
guys see any statistics? How often is that happening through ODOT? Do they give any feedback on that yet?
It's used a lot.
Yeah.
Nathan and
You
I.
haven't seen numbers or anything?
No, we probably could. We probably could put some numbers together to see, how we're doing each month. I'd say everyone is doing pretty well. We've been more busy with those than ever before, I think, in the last couple months.
I think it's gotten better too, because when we first did it, we got nothing but spam. Literally, the first 2 days, every fish that was sent to us was spam. It was just like information from marketing firms and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
now it seems like that's kind of honing in. And
Anything-
it's typically, more than often than not, it is actually a fish that we're dealing with, so.
We're getting a lot of emails, with anything with a link in it. People are clicking that button, which is fine, whether it's phishing or not. We'll take a look at it and make sure. Yes.
You had mentioned on the slide, scan your device for viruses and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Which tools do you guys recommend most of those?
At home?
Yeah.
Talking about home use? I don't have anything special. Windows Defender is built into Windows 10. You can set that up to schedule to run scans on your system daily, weekly, however you want. But I've had no issues with it.
Those specific
And that's free.
products?
That comes with the package, so
Yeah.
you're not spending $75 to $100 a year on antivirus. More than welcome to if you have something else out there that you like better. But for me, Windows Defender works good for me.
You could use Kaspersky if you like Russia. They're not affiliated, they say.
Now, is there anything that you could install that would prevent something like ransomware or anything like that?
I don't think there's really anything to prevent ransomware. You have to click or do something to initiate it. And oftentimes, your computer may be locked out, your files may be locked until you call the number. That's really how they get you. And I think it's that can cost a lot of companies millions of dollars, just because if that happens in a company scenario, we're talking big bucks. They can lock down a whole company, a whole industry. In the future, these cyber criminals are going to be looking at Uber and other car services with the automated cars coming out, becoming more popular. They're going to try and lock down a fleet of vehicles for a company and have to pay millions of dollars to get them unlocked. If they want to unlock them, they'll send that wire transfer. So we're going to see that in the near future as technology advances. That's what we're going to have, companies are going to have to watch out for. Now at home, they're going after your computer. They're trying to get your computer locked out so you pay them $500 and you can have it back. A lot of people do it. That's all their information. Your hard drive. That's a lot of people's life. So they have to either pay them or don't pay them and then get a new hard drive.
Probably your best prevention is what Tyler's gone over though, because most of the times ransomware begins is because of phishing. They're going to send you a phishing document, it's going to have an attachment in it, and in that attachment you're going to open it, and typically it's a Microsoft Office application, and it's going to ask you to enable macros. Anyone ever seen that? We have a lot of Excel documents that have enable macros in it, right? And so whenever you enable the macro, it kicks the code off, it automatically encrypts your files, and then it'll, as Tyler said, it'll bring up, please call this number, your files have been encrypted.
That's the first time I've heard that. Thank you. I didn't realize that for the ransomware to work, you had to actually enable macros.
Yeah, so they want you to initiate the code. Many times it's how they do these things. Other times it might be through vulnerabilities that they find on systems, that they find a way to inject that code there. But typically it is through an employee, through not paying attention, maybe they're tired or whatever, they click and they get, so that's oftentimes how they're getting to these organizations. As you saw, Tyler said 90% of all breaches start with phishing. So your best tool, your tool, right, against this is user education. That's your most thing. Keep your antivirus up to date, obviously, but most of the time antivirus, it's signature based. So that's only going to give you what they know about. There's million forms of malware being formed every single day. So user education, knowing what you're seeing, that's going to be your best tool, as Tyler's giving you this morning. So.
Well, what is the sextorting? What is that considered? Is it considered the ransom?
No. You want to take that one? This is your presentation, not
No,
mine.
yeah, I mean, we're
Sorry.
tag teaming it. So, I mean, the sextortion thing, we've kind of actually had quite a bit of those recently
I've
at
had
ODOT.
two.
You've got them?
Yeah,
Okay,
I've
so
had
yeah.
two,
What they'll do,
I know.
the most recent one, they were sending them in plain text and email. Now they've sent them, they're sending them in PDF documents to open up to see what the content is.
Well, that was my second one. The
The first one
with
was
the
probably in
sex-
plain
yeah.
text, yeah, so.
And I actually called Simon and said, hey, it's a PDF. I'm allowed to open PDFs, right? And he said no.
Not if it's for someone you don't know, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we can take a look at that. And basically what they do is they say, hey, I'm so-and-so, and a lot of times they'll have, like the subject heading is an old password you used.
It was
Yeah,
a
so they
legit
really scare
password.
someone. They're like, I got your password, and they try to trick you. So they'll say, hey, I got your password, and I saw you out here on some, adult websites, and I was watching you
That's
through
where
your
it broke down
webcam.
for me, because I hadn't done that.
So
They had me at the password
they had you at the
part.
password. That's what they get most
but
people.
The other stuff, I was like, okay.
They're like, yeah, we got you on video, and we're going to release this video to all your friends and family and contacts in your phone. We have them all because we've hacked your laptop. Here's our Bitcoin address. Send us, 3 Bitcoins, and we won't do it.
The first one, they were asking for cash. The second one, they were asking for Bitcoin.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's kind of what they're doing on that end.
The good thing about those is, like you just said, on the whole extortion thing, it's like, granted, I don't know you people, but, typically it's at work, right? They're sending it to your work email. Right off the bat, like, I did not do this. There's a proverb that says that, the righteous are bold, which means it's like, what do you got on me? This is crap. You can throw it away. But Tyler we looked at a Bitcoin address, right? A wallet.
Yeah,
just
we
a
can
few
look
days
at
ago.
those addresses.
Andrew, I think, did we do this?
Yeah.
So they have a Bitcoin address that you can go to the wallet and look at it on the blockchain, and there was money that was paid to it. And so it's like, okay,
Yeah.
this actually worked. So someone was guilty, for their own sins. It seems like on that, but those seem pretty easy for us. Plus, it's our domain, so you really can't go anywhere unless, if you do, we'll find you.
So there isn't anything that, like, I did to create that?
No.
No, okay.
No, your
No.
information probably got sold somewhere. It was
I
obtained.
think it
On the
was
dark web.
the Fitbit breach.
That could be. There's a few other people in this room that have had their information sold because another vendor got hacked and they got your password. They just sent a mass email to you clicks.
So the one that I got, the password that they had was something that I'd used on like a software download website years ago probably, because it was still the DOT state OHS email address.
Mhm.
And I hadn't used it in a long time. It's one of those ones where you gotta download, they want you to sign up for the account, so you give it something, pretty simple as password. So they must have got a hold of that, because I've got several now with that password. So they got a hold of the work account and the password that was used to download, some piece of software, or maybe a couple of different types of software we downloaded from several years ago.
Yep. So that shows the importance of changing your password, right? We all hate that, but it is good to change it. So make sure you keep that updated systems. Something like LastPass is pretty handy. It auto-generates passwords for you. So I know almost none of my passwords now because they're 16-character alphanumeric see the random numbers.
I thought they were hacked yesterday.
So there is an update actually on that. If you go to, I think, the 4.33 version update, LastPass is already ahead on that. So that's another reason to stay up to date on your systems and keep things patched as well. Boom.
Anybody else got anything?
But if you've been hard drive encrypted for ransom, I fear that you pay the ransom money, but how do you guarantee they're gonna release the encryption code? Does that happen very often where people pay up, but they never get the unencryption?
That's up to, I guess, the hacker, how he feels that day.
So,
It's definitely a bad business model on top of it, because, if you don't release it, nobody's ever gonna pay.
yeah, so I'm actually going to agree with her on this one. As from what I've understood and learning about ransomware, there's the Kivu Institute. They actually deal in this. So there's a whole business model now of getting you taken care of ransomware, right? Because so many people get nailed with it. Now you need negotiators. And so these companies are making money off getting their systems back up and negotiating with the terrorists, you could say in this case. A lot of these people, it's ransomware as a service. This is a business model. They're making their livelihood. So they're cutting through the chase now. It's no longer trying to figure out how to get through the back door. It's like, you have money, I want it, I'm holding your data hostage, you need it, pay me. They're just cutting the middleman out. So most of the time what they'll actually do, Russ, is they will talk. They will be very pleasant with you. They even have tech services to help you through your transition and getting your files unencrypted. So you can just chat right with their help desk support that they have there. They have a ticketing system. They will check back with you in a couple of days most times. But there are those, morons that, like, I'm not encrypting your data no matter what. So, heck with you. But most of the ones out there, there's actually a civility like the mob was back in the day. Pay $20, bust your kneecaps. If not, pat you on the back. That's kind of the way things are going now. So it's a business. They want to be professional with you for the most part.
Hey, if you're gonna make that picture, you better.
Yeah.
Yep.
Up 50.
All right. Thank you, guys.